Hi everyone, Ryan here with Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Donald Cerrone versus Niko Price. If you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so Donald Cerrone versus Niko Price, co-main event on this card. Now this is an interesting fight. A little bit unique. A lot of times when you see co-main events, you'll see fighters that are at different positions in their career. You'll see a young guy who's an up-and-comer. You'll see an established guy who's maybe needs to get a couple wins towards the top. It'll be a number one contender type fight, something like that. But this one's a little bit different. In this one, we've got Donald Cerrone, who, man, I've been a fan of this guy for a long time, but nobody is going to think that at this point Donald Cerrone is going to put something together and get himself to a title shot. Then you've got Niko Price, a lot younger. He's only 30 years old. But he's kind of been, fluctuating, kind of a middle-of-the-road type fighter. Gets a win, gets a loss, gets a win, gets a loss. Looks impressive in a knockout, gets smoked by another one. So he's kind of funny too. Now, he's definitely got some potential. He could definitely rack up a few wins, particularly against a name like Cerrone, and do something big. So, remains to be seen. But just from a promotional standpoint, other than just straight up fan appeal, I was a little surprised that they put this one, that the UFC put this one as the main event, as the co-main event. So Donald Cerrone, as I just mentioned earlier, man, I've been a fan of this guy for a long time. Been watching him forever. He is by far the most active fighter in the UFC. So if you're just a regular watcher of the UFC, you're going to constantly see Donald Cerrone popping across your screen because the guy likes to stay active. I swear sometimes he is so active, you think that he probably even rarely has to spar in his training camps. I mean, that's how quick his fights are back to back to back, where it's almost like there's not even any time for him to get out of shape. So that's always been great. He always mixes it up, always gets in there against anybody, great personality. So it's been awesome to watch him throughout the years. Now his style is primarily that of a kickboxer. He is slick on the ground. He's got some great submissions. His wrestling is technical. But those aren't the things that he goes to. When you're looking at the highlight reel of Donald Cerrone, you're looking at the cowboy knocking people out, right? You're looking at the cowboy getting stoppages. That's his thing. Although he does have those tools in his bag should he decide to use them. And he likes to work at distance. He prefers to work at a pace, not slow, not rushed. Doesn't like to work on the inside. Really, middle distance isn't his thing either, although he can get a little bit of work done at that point. He likes to be measured. He likes to show patience, and he likes to work at distance. Uses long punches, long kicks. Doesn't really necessarily play the role of sniper. He'll throw some combinations. Likes to move forward, but it's at a measured pace. He doesn't like to rush his work. Now, I just mentioned his wrestling, and that it's really technical, and it's interesting because the thing is, he likes to work at that measured pace. He likes to work when he wants to work, when he finds openings on his opponents. And he uses that wrestling to blend in with that. And what I mean by that is if he's working at his pace and he's going and he's got an opponent who wants to press things, wants to be aggressive and move the pace of the fight up, he will use that wrestling defensively to take his opponent down. And that's going to discourage his opponent from wanting to continue to press the pace, wanting to continue to move forward because he knows I get a little bit too much, I get a little bit too fast and get ahead of myself, Cerrone's going to be able to come in and get that takedown. And when he does, he uses beautiful technique. But it's not his size or his speed or his athleticism or anything that gets him those takedowns. When it comes to the wrestling, it's really about the timing. The most effective technique that you can use is the one that your opponent doesn't expect. That's what made GSP's wrestling so good. And it's honestly what makes Cerrone's wrestling so good. He uses it when guys don't expect it. Just when you think it's a hardcore, straight-up kickboxing match, he dives in for a double leg and gets you down. So it's definitely something he's got in his bag. His problems, and he's got a few, right? He's been a little bit too active. A fighter isn't necessarily considered old by the age on his birth certificate. Much more than that, it's important how much punishment he's taken in the ring. And in that regard, Donald Cerrone is an old man, right? Coming off 4 straight losses, taking a lot of damage, getting knocked out. That's just most recent. He's been in a bunch of fights. Right? He is, like I said, he's the most active fighter in the UFC. And he's gotten knocked out a lot. He's taken a lot of punishment, right? On top of that, he is 37 years old. So you've got a really active guy who's actually been doing it for a long time, taking a lot of punishment, particularly as of late. You look at the last 12 to 15 months, a lot of fights, a lot of punishment in that time. So that's one thing. The second thing that I mention when I think about his weaknesses is his ability to fight backing up. Or I should say his lack of ability to fight backing up. If you can get Donald Cerrone to go backwards during a fight, man, it cuts his effectiveness at least in half. He is just not good like that. He's got to come forward to get his thing going, to get his rhythm, to be able to get his shots off, get his timing. You back him up, throws him completely off. And then I have to mention it because of all the punishment he's taken, because of his age. I also worry about his durability. I mean, he's just taking a lot of shots. Sometimes I wonder if some of these shots would have put him down when he was younger. If it's just been the accumulation of damage over the years and it's just worked its magic on him already and he just can't really stand up to it anymore. And that matters against a guy like Niko Price, who's got a lot of impressive knockouts, right? He's got some real power in his hands. So let's talk about Niko Price a little bit. Okay, so he's a big guy for the division. Long reach, kind of an awkward looking body, wide and everything. He prefers to kickbox too. Now, he's got a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. We've seen him off of his back and everything. But when you watch the majority of his fights, you can see that he likes to mix it up. He's aggressive, enjoys those exchanges. He's got really good power, catches guys and can just knocks them out cold. The most impressive one that I can think about is that one with Tim Means. He just let that right hand go, and Tim Means went to sleep before he hit the ground. You think about his knockout of Randy Brown, hammer fist from his back. You think about, it was an up kick, but still, the power that he generated against James Vick, come on, that's ridiculous. So this dude, even when he lost to Jeff Neal, he hurt Jeff Neal in that fight. It's almost like every single person who steps into the octagon with Niko Price can expect to get buzzed. And that don't really bode well for Donald Cerrone with the durability issues that he has. So the thing about Niko is, like I mentioned, he likes his stand-up. He's got great power. But his stand-up is a little bit different than Cerrone. He likes to work at distance, and he gets that going. But he throws more combinations. He's definitely more aggressive, likes to be in those exchanges. Sometimes to the point of smothering his work. He'll get in a little bit too close. But when he does, he's got to move for that. Likes to work knees when he's on the inside, and he'll back out again. But if I had to pick one thing that stood out to me the most about Niko Price, honestly, it would be his creativity. A little bit wild, right? He's a little bit wild, but he's also creative within that wildness. If he gets off balance, if he's moving a little bit, if there's some kind of an exchange and there's like a scramble kind of almost, he'll land hard shots in there. He will get his punches off. They'll be accurate. They'll land. He's dangerous in those spots. Again, that's where he can catch guys and buzz them. All right, so the question is, when these two meet up in the octagon, what exactly is it going to look like? Who's going to come out with the victory? So first things first, I would have to say I think this is going to primarily be a stand-up fight. It's going to be working at distance. I think both guys will be moving forward and backwards at times. Cowboy isn't comfortable moving backwards, but he will give up ground if you're being aggressive. Niko Price is comfortable moving forward or backwards, but he'll definitely move. He won't let Cowboy move forward all the time. Both guys prefer to work at distance, so I think we'll see a lot of shots from there. Niko loves that counter right hand. Cowboy is going to try to work with his jab a little bit and work in with some straight punches, combinations, move behind him, try to get some angles, things like that. I expect Niko to get a little bit of aggressive. He's going to work inside, probably get the clinch, try to grab Cowboy behind the head, land some knees here and there, stuff like that. And it'll just be back and forth in a lot of those exchanges. Cowboy might even try to work in a takedown, rack up the points, figure it's going to be a 3-round fight, get Niko Price down, hold him on his back, ground and pound for a little bit. He's always good there. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He understands top position well. And like I said, he's technical with his wrestling, so he should be able to get a takedown if he wants, even though I believe he's the stronger guy at 170 pounds. Now, all that being said, because of Niko's power, because of Donald Cerrone's durability issues, because Niko, I believe, is more athletic at this stage of his career and being 30 years old and Cerrone being 37, I think he comes out with the victory. I hate to say it, but I think he ends up getting a stoppage too. And the reason I hate to say it is I'm just tired of seeing Donald Cerrone take the punishment that he has. But I think in one of those exchanges, he's got good punches, a long right hand, like I said, good counter. I think he's just going to end up catching him, and he's got really good power. Cerrone's got the durability issues. He's going to end up getting hurt. He's going to get buzzed, and Niko's going to jump all over him, man. He's fast. He knows how to finish. So I think he'll be able to go in there, and I think he'll be able to get the job done. Maybe there'll end up being a decision. I could see that working out too. But I worry it could just end up being another hard loss for Donald Cerrone. And I know coming into this one, he said that he's not even considering retirement. And I get it. The man's a fighter in his heart through and through. But if he continues to take punishment, who knows? Who knows what he'll consider? But we're going with Niko Price in this one. Think he's going to be able to get it done. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. How do you think this one's going to play out? If Donald Cerrone gets the loss, what do you think about that? Should he stick around, continue to play out his contract, try to sign a new one, or does he hang up in gloves and call it quits? He is for sure getting into the UFC Hall of Fame either way.